Good morning, children. Sairam. Welcome to your English class. Children, today we will do something interesting in writing skills. Children, at some point of time in your life, whether at school or at workplace, you will be called upon to speak. Now, children, for many people, speaking in front of a crowd or an audience is terrifying. But children, you have to gather courage and confidence and develop this art of speaking. Speaking is an art, children. Okay, so to deliver a speech is an art. So we have to develop this art. We have to develop this oratory skill. Okay, so today we will learn speech writing. But before that, let us see what is a speech. Now, children, speech refers to a formal address or discourse delivered to an audience. So, when we address somebody, okay, or we give a speech to an audience, deliver a speech to an audience. Now, children, when we plan a speech, we have to keep in mind what is the occasion, the audience, and purpose. So, on what occasion you are speaking, who is the audience, and what is the purpose of your speech? These three will decide the address, content and tone of your speech. You have to be very polite when you speak. So these three, that is the occasion, audience and purpose, they will decide the content and tone of your speech. Now children, there are different types of speeches: informative, persuasive and special occasion. Now children, informative speeches, when writing an informative speech, you should focus on presenting facts or telling a story in a concise and engaging manner. That is when you want to give some information to an audience. Okay, that time that is called as informative speech. Now persuasive speech, when you are writing a persuasive speech, your job is to use the facts and opinions to convince your audience. When you are convincing, you are persuading the audience, okay, to come around to your way of thinking. What is your way of thinking? What is your opinion? So you are persuading someone, you are convincing someone. So there are different speeches: informative, where you give information; persuasive, when you are trying to convince, when you are trying to persuade the audience; and some are special occasion. Now they are meant to entertain or pay tribute to a person, place or institution. These are the speeches when we hear at weddings, funerals, parties, etc. So they are given at a particular occasion. So there are different types of speeches: informative, persuasive and special occasion. Okay. Now children, what is the format of speech writing? This is very important, children. You have to keep in mind when you write speech. Okay. Now the format is salutation. Now salutation means you have to greet your audience, introduction, body, conclusion. So these things you have to keep in mind when you are planning your speech: salutation, introduction, body and conclusion. Now salutation or greeting. Children, salutation or greeting means you have to greet your audience. Okay. Now next is introduction. Now children, when you begin your speech, you have to begin with a thought-provoking question. You have to see to it that the audience starts thinking about it. Or it could be an interesting or relevant quotation, or even a relevant joke or anecdote. Now anecdote is what, children? Anecdote is when you give some amusing story or some interesting story about a real life incident. It could be an incident or a person. So that is anecdote. Now this is to capture your audience attention. So introduction should be very catchy. Okay, you have to capture the attention of the audience and then you have to introduce your topic. So introduction is very, very important. You have to introduce through an thought-provoking question or some quotation, anecdote, so that you capture your audience attention and then you introduce your topic. Proceed seamlessly to the body of your speech. That is, you have to be continuous. The flow should be a continuous flow. Okay, should not break in between. You have to be continuous and then you have to proceed seamlessly to the body of your speech. That is, you have to disclose your topic. Now next is body. This should contain your main points, arguments and illustrations. Limit yourself to a few major and well expressed and substantiated points. So children, you have to give correct information. You have to limit yourself. It should be important ones, and substantiated points means it should be verified, it should be authentic. Okay, focus on quality. Do not try to bring in too many points. So whenever you speak, whenever you are planning to write a speech, you have to focus on the quality. Okay, now normally children, you feel that when you write lengthy speeches you get more marks. It is not like that children. The quality is very very important. So you have to focus on quality and don't try to bring in too many points. Okay, just focus on the quality and on the content. Okay, now next is conclusion. This should summarize your strongest point or argument. You should also draw your conclusion from this argument. So whatever you are feeling, whatever is your opinion, so try to bring that, try to draw your conclusion from that argument. Okay, now children, in your exam, speech writing, that is drafting a speech, this question, it carries 5 marks, and this question is a question number 6b1. It carries 5 marks. Now children, the question indicating the theme of the speech would be provided in the paper along with some pointers, that is the hints will be given based on which the speech has to be developed. So in the question you will be given the theme, what is the speech about, and you will be given the hints also, that is the pointers we call, on which speech has to be developed. And the following points should be considered while attempting this question. Now children, here see here, drafting a speech, appropriate beginning and conclusion, that will fetch you 1 mark. Okay, you will be allotted 1 mark for that. So if you give a proper beginning and proper conclusion, you will get 1 mark. Then your body, use of given points and additional points, appropriate use of language. Children, whatever points are given, you have to use that point, and you can use your own points too. And the language, it should be appropriate, so that will give you 2 marks. Then appropriate sequence and flow of language, that is, it should be logical. So appropriate sequence and flow of language, 1 mark for that. Use of appropriate grammatical structures, that also will fetch you 1 mark. So it's a 5 mark question, children. Now how you will score well in this question? You have to read the question properly and note down your arguments in a logical order. It should be logical. Organize your points and arguments logically. Then ensure all the key points are included in your answer. Express your views in a polite, firm and convincing manner. The language used must be simple and logical. Including quotes, authentic facts, etc. would add value to your answer. As I told you, you should start with a thought-provoking question, or whatever the facts are, they should be authentic. That will add value to your answer. And be sure to write an interesting beginning and a meaningful ending for the speech. Your introduction, it should be very catchy. It should attract the audience. Okay, so it should be very interesting beginning and meaningful ending for the speech. So children, remember all these points. Okay, and it is a 5 mark question in your examination. Okay children, now let us do one example, children, of speech writing. It is commonly believed that nature has enough for man's greed, but not enough for man's greed. Prepare a speech to be delivered in the school assembly, highlighting the role of students in preservation and conservation of environment. So this is the theme of your speech, what you're going to write about. So you have to prepare a speech, that is, you have to draft your speech, which is to be delivered in the school assembly. What is the theme of it? You have to highlight the role of students in preservation and conservation of environment. Children, you will be given the pointers, that is, you will be given the hints. You can use the following pointers. Children should contribute towards preservation and conservation of environment, reduce waste, conserve existing resources, spread awareness about environment issues. So these are the hints which are given. You have to use these in your answer, and you can add your own points also. Okay children, now let us start, children. Good morning, respected principal, teachers and my dear friends. Now children, this is the salutation. You have to greet your audience. Okay, So, good morning, respected principal, teachers, and my dear friends. Today, I am going to express my views on the role of school children in the preservation and conservation of environment. Now, you are introducing your topic, okay? It is rightly said, we are a part of nature, not apart nature. Environment is the pillar upon which the life of each and every living organism lies. But the base of this is getting weaker and weaker. I'm sure we, the children, can certainly take little steps towards improving our environment. So, see here, when I've given the introduction, I have used a proverb. Okay, so this should be, it will convince the audience, it will grab the attention of the audience. So, I'll read it once again. It is rightly said, we are a part of nature, not apart nature. Environment is the pillar upon which the life of each and every living organism lies. But the base of this is getting weaker and weaker. I am sure we, the children, can certainly take little steps towards improving our environment. Now, children, let us see the body of the speech. We should attempt to reduce waste before it becomes waste. We should avoid wastage of paper by using it on both sides. We should try our best to conserve the existing resources so that they do not get exhausted. We should not waste water while taking a bath, and most certainly we can take shorter bath. Non-toxic cleaners should be used at home which are environment friendly. We should always turn electrical switches off when not in use, especially personal computers and electronics which can consume a lot of energy. We should use energy saving bulbs. Now children, here in this body, whatever pointers are given in the question, we have used that, and additional points also children we can use. Now here children, I'll read it once again. We should attempt to reduce waste before it becomes waste. So we have to see to it that we attempt to reduce waste and attempt to avoid the wastage of paper. We should use it on both the sides. We should try our best to conserve the existing resources. They should not get exhausted. We should not waste water. Okay, non-toxic cleaners, that is a non-poisonous cleaners, should be used at home which are environment friendly. We should always turn off the electrical appliances when they are not in use. For example, personal computer and other things which consume a lot of energy. We should use energy saving bulbs. So children, these were the pointers, okay, which were given in the question. We should use carpools instead of taking individual cars to common destinations. Reduce the use of petroleum based products and use biodegradable products. Now children, here also we should use carpools. Now carpools means what children? Suppose you are traveling to school, you have to go to school, and what can be done? Suppose one parent can take some children together in a car and they can go that, okay? Means you are in a group, you are using it. So many people do this, okay? That is called carpooling, okay? Instead of taking individual cars to common destinations. Reduce the use of petroleum based products and use biodegradable products. And at last, but not the least, grow more and more trees in and around your house and spread awareness about environmental issues. So here you are trying to persuade, you are trying to convince the audience that they should grow more and more trees in and around your house and spread awareness about environmental issues. Okay, so here we are talking about the body of the speech, okay. In the end, I would like to say that a small step taken today will become a giant leap tomorrow. It will go a long way in preserving and conserving the environment. So this is my conclusion, children. So in the end, I would like to say that a small step taken today will become a giant leap tomorrow. It will go a long way in preserving and conserving the environment. So children, speech writing, you have to be very careful. You have to use all the points, that is, you have to give proper salutation then your introduction, which should be very catchy. Okay, then the body of the speech, that is you have to use the hints, whatever the pointers are given in the question, and you can also add your own points. Okay, and your conclusion. Okay, so these all things you have to keep in mind when you draft your speech. Okay, so children, I hope you have understood speech writing, and children, you should develop this oratory skills. You should see to it that you overcome your stage fear. Should always develop the confidence in speaking. So this is an art, children. Speaking is also an art, so we have to develop this art, children. So I hope you have understood speech writing, children. Thank you, my dear students. Meet you in the next class.